Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's NinjaTrader Ecosystem webinar event with Charles Boyle of Viper Trading Systems. My name is Juanita, and I am the platform representative here at NinjaTrader. I would like to mention that it is important to understand that there are substantial risks in trading commodity futures contracts and Forex. You should carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you and will depend on your specific circumstance and financial resources. It is possible to lose all funds deposited with your broker and could even incur losses beyond this amount. Please inquire at the following link for more information or for a full copy of the CFTC risk disclosure. Also, please remember that these training webinars are not a solicitation nor a recommendation, but simply educational in nature. This webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is the technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Any brokerage-related questions should be sent to the brokerage directly using the following information. Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. The NinjaTrader ecosystem website is home to hundreds of third-party apps and services, all centered around the NinjaTrader platform. With new tools added nearly every day, NinjaTrader ecosystem is home to hundreds of apps and services. You can quickly and easily find these tools or services you are looking for with a simple keyword search. You'll also find information about upcoming webinars and an on-demand video archive of previous event recordings. For up-to-date information, please be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, as all updates are posted live about NinjaTrader platform and the ecosystem. NinjaTrader is always free for advanced charting, strategy backtesting, and trade simulation. To ensure you are on the latest version of NinjaTrader and to pick up a free live data trial, please visit the following link. You can also lease or purchase NinjaTrader using the following link. And if you are just getting started with NinjaTrader, we offer free live training on a daily basis. You can view a schedule of our weekly webinars using the following link. We are very excited for this unique event in which Charles will teach to trade the crude oil pit open. Thank you again for your attendance, and without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room, Charles. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you're having a very nice day. Let me get my screen up for you here. My name is Charles Boyle. I'm a partner in Viper Trading Systems with my business partner, Gary Donahue. And let's see, I'm going to share a screen here. You should see a PowerPoint slide come up in just a second. Everybody see that? Okay. All right. Excellent. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. Today we're going to, let me get over to the agenda and we'll get started here. All right. First thing we're going to go through is we're going to go through our I got the chat box back up. Lost the chat box, but I'm back. Sorry about that. Technical problem. Today we're going to cover overview, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Viper history. I encourage everyone to go to the vipertradingsystems.com website, and on the homepage there is a free trial. Everybody is invited to take the free trial right from the homepage. We're going to talk about trading the pit open. We're going to discuss trend changes. There's a couple of major ones that occur throughout the trading day. Most of you know, if you've been trading for a while, there's V tops and V bottoms where you get reversals from up trends to down trends. And then very, very important, throughout the course of this webinar here, we have what's called kind of an after party. And what that is we have a webinar today scheduled at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 Eastern. And we have some additional things that we're going to show you in there that are really cool. And what's great about that is we have a drawing at the end of that, if you're there, for a free lifetime license. Now, that's a pretty big deal. Been around about 11 years now. We've only done this one other time. And welcome, Samba, from the Netherlands. Pretty cool. You're going to get the link. Make sure you come to that. Okay? Let's see here. Moving on. Okay. Let's talk about Viper. Gary and I got together in 2009. We started off with sort of very humble beginning. We had just a small handful of indicators that we used. We had just a small little live room where a few people came in, and then we teamed up with Ninja, and this is a long time ago. And we did some webinars very similar to this, presentations, and so we've grown over the years into what we are today. The main parts of our business are, of course, the visual indicators that you're going to see here just in a minute on the Ninja charts. We have a semi-automated trading strategy called Object Trader we built several years ago. People like that. We do have a live trading room. Every morning, Gary opens it up at 5:55. So those of you that trade crude oil, you know that the pit opens at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, and we try to catch those oil trades early. And I'm going to show that chart in just a second here. We also do trade recaps at the end of some of the live trading rooms where we go back and we say, okay, no, I'm going to pause for a second. Just a show of hands from the team here. How many of you currently trade futures actively? And if you do, what instruments do you like? Just quick show of hands. How many of you currently trade futures? And if it's a yes, then what instruments do you like to trade? Just a quick show of hands here. See who are, oh, a lot of ES. You mean S&P, NASDAQ futures, crude oil, a lot of gold traders. Excellent. Awesome. There's a YM, E-mini Dow. Fantastic. We got that in the room, by the way. In our live room, we got YM. More NASDAQ traders. Excellent. Well, I only have, I think I have pretty much a crude chart today to show you. I have an ES chart. I believe I have a gold chart. But we have other things when you come to this after party that we can show you in more detail. Of course, we have training webinars. Those are on Mondays, Thursday nights, and 2 out of 3 Saturday mornings at 9. We record those. We have hundreds of hours of recorded material in our if you go to the website, you'll see there's a login to a member area. And then we have this notion of what's called high energy times and high probability trades. And those are emails that go to our members twice a day. High energy time is basically, we treat that kind of like a news event where you get increased volatility. High probability trades are, we look at certain instruments that are poised and sort of coiled for the next day to make a big move. And so you get those in emails twice a day. They're pretty cool. People like those. All right, let's get over to the crude chart. Here you can see the June contract for crude oil. See if I can get my cursor up on the chart here. Cursor moving, white cursor. Anybody see the white cursor moving around? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, this is CL. This is CL, the June contract. That's the current front month for crude. Now these are indicators here running in the background. We have bar colors. We have background colors. You can see over here to the left, when you're in an uptrend, it's predominantly a green background. When it's down, it's a red background indicating the trend. When you have a downtrending type move, as you did for crude on this particular day, you can see that and we have this notion of these bands. These are some of the indicators that we produce for Ninja. So you have 8 bands total. In the middle is a thick band we call the mid band. And a lot of our trading is centered around this mid band. So you have 4 above it and 4 below it. You have this thin red line is called line 2, and the green line up here is called line 6. Now, what's notable what happened here right going into the pit open is right about here at 6, 9 Eastern, right? It's not so much that you get the thrust, which obviously tells you that now the trend is down, but we are what you call retracement or pullback traders. So what we do is we patiently wait for the market, in this case crude, to pull back right into the mid-band area right here. See how we call this, on the short side, we call this a kiss and roll. See how it just kind of comes right up to the mid-band, bonk, hits its head, rolls over, bonk, hits its head, wicks and rolls over, and then just give you this beautiful short trade right here. See it? So one of the things we really do in our training is we emphasize trying to develop the patience to wait for those pullbacks, because what naturally happens is, and this is just natural for all traders, so you know what I'm talking about, is when you get this push in real time and you think that you're going to miss the trade. So naturally what you want to do is pull the trigger and get short down here, and your stop is up here somewhere, right? Well, what happens? Yeah, pulls back, pops your stop. Oh, no. Oh, look, and then it went in my favor and dropped 60 ticks. What the heck? So you got to kind of flip that mentality. Now, if you take, to answer Joe Tiz's question, when these trades are taken at the mid-band like this, you can do a market order, a limit order, or we use an object trader box, which is that automated strategy we talked about, where you box it in right here. And most stops are in the initial stops, 12 to 15 ticks. So for instance, if you're filled on the rollover of this bar right here, you would go above this, you go 12 ticks above here. So your initial stops would be up here. Now, what we advocate in all of our trading strategies is to put on 2 contracts if you can. And what you want to do is at 10 ticks, take the first contract off, okay? And then you want to engage the runner after you get this AB, because you get another ABC move here, ABC. And then you engage your runner on the trail. We have strategies around how to do that. I don't have time to get into all that. In the after party, we'll talk a little bit more about the details and the mechanics of how you get in and manage the trade. Now notice what we try to do here also, and we noticed over the years, many years we've been doing this, is the other thing that traders struggle with a lot is over trading. How many of you in here, this is a range, 4-tick range bar chart. 1. Show of hands and be honest. How many of you think that you might do a little bit of over trading in the morning sometimes? Or maybe you stay at the screen a little longer than you should. Maybe you're up a little bit and you're doing really well and you think you're, sort of playing with the house money or whatever. And then next thing you know, start to give it all back. And then you go home empty-handed. We've all been there. Come on. You know what you're talking about. So how do we combat that? Well, what we do is this. We have a saying. There's 2 sayings in our live room. The first one is, nicely green, turn off the machine. The second one we have is called 1 or 2 and done. Now, if you've been in our live room, you've heard us say that all the time. So what we're saying, to be clear, is that if you nail a good trade like this on the crude pit open and you get a nice move in your favor and you're up quite nicely for the morning, that's time to stop. So if you're at or near your goal, you turn off the machine. 1 or 2 and done. Now, just before we move off of this, I do want to show, of course, you can see we got one more thrust on here. Background is still solid red. Mid-band and all the bands are stair-stepping down. Very clearly a nice, beautiful downtrend, right? Then we get one more. Now, we call this a deep retracement. See how it goes a little bit beyond the mid-band? Not much, but we kiss what line up here? Line 6. That's what we call a deep retracement. We have a whole strategy on how to enter that trade and take that trade. It's beautiful. Box it in, market order, limit order, how by hook or by crook, you're short again here, right? And then look at this follow through down. Oh, just perfect. So you could have taken this leg. If you missed that leg, you got another shot right there to get in. Another beautiful kiss and roll off of line 6. And then trail stop, get your scalp off right here, 10 ticks. And then trail, trail, trail until you finally stop out down here. That was definitely a morning for a 1 or 2 and done on crude. All right, any questions on that? Questions on the crude trades? By the way, when you in the free trial, what we do, if you go to the website and take the free trial, we will send you all of these indicators. You'll get a full package with everything in it, including the template to make your charts look exactly like what we have in the room. So all the background colors, bar colors, the bands, the mid-band. We have other indicators that aren't on here because they got cut off. But you get the full package. Boxit is using a program that we have called Object Trader. And the term object means that you can draw objects with it, like rectangles and boxes. And then when you enable it, let's use an example here. Let's say you engulfed this area right here with a rectangle or a box, and then you enable it. And when you do, you can set it up to take a short on a close outside of the box. So then on the next bar that closes, you get a market order that fills short right here. And then the semi-automated part is that once you engage the box, the beautiful thing is that the initial stop is placed, the scalp targets are placed, the long-range running targets are placed, and the trail stop is engaged. So in that sense, once the box is enabled and the trade is fired on the close, you don't have to do anything else. But you can move them around. Everything can be moved around, but they're all in place for you. You know what? I don't know the date of this, Christopher. My apologies. You can see here that all this information around here, like that would have like a date, it got cropped when I did this snapshot. It's not today. This is probably, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So we had to crop this and get this already ahead of time. So my apologies, that date got cropped with it. I'm not sure exactly what date that was. But yeah, as you know, there's a lot of huge volatility with the crude oil right now. Markets are moving all over the place. So this is a real moneymaker. And our resident expert is my business partner, Gary Donahue. He is our go-to crude trader. Not sure, Samba, what that is. Can we scan the indicators too? I'm not sure exactly what that means. Can you maybe rephrase that a little bit? I'm not sure. Why no long trade in the green area? Well, let me get to that. That's a great, Joe Tiz. Let me get to the next chart. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about trend changes. This is perfect cue to get on to the next step here. Now, in this case, in this illustration here, we show a V bottom, an example. This is the gold chart. It's the latest contract, the March 20th expiration on gold. Here again, if you keep with our notion of lower highs and lower lows, indicating a downtrend. So in this case here, to the left of the V bottom, which is located obviously right here, that each thrust was a shorting opportunity, retracement, rollover, short, 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 and then of course you had a beautiful push down here. Now I'm located in California, so midnight Pacific is the demarcation point. By the way, just real quick, if everybody has a chance to look at your chat box, there's a link to our after party webinar where everybody's invited. Please make sure you do that. We're going to do a drawing for a lifetime license. It's on that link, attendee, go to webinar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Click on that. Now, I want to explain how this works on the V bottom. When you come down and you hit bottom, oh, so that's what I was saying. Okay, so midnight's over here. And so to the left here, which you can't see that part of the chart, but this is the end of what's called the Asian trading session. Okay, and then end of the Asian trading, and then midnight, the European trading session. So all the big banks in London and England or what have you, they all start trading the futures, gold, ES, crude. In this case here, you can see going into the beginning of the European session, the trend was down, right? Short, rollover, short, et cetera, and you get this nice, beautiful drop, nice push. And at about 3:30 my time, you get a bounce, almost kind of a little double bottom here around this 1697 area, and then we get the push. Now, that being said, I'm not going to have enough time. In the after part, I can explain this a little bit more in detail, but when this starts to transition, here's what happens. Many, many times you will pause at the midband like this. Can you see this little period of consolidation candle sitting right on the midband right here? Now, in this particular case, if you're trading the European session, you could have put an object trader box around that. Now, if you enabled both sides, meaning enable long, close outside to the upside, long, enable short on a close outside of the downside, then you would have caught this first leg. Okay? Many, many times, if you don't catch the first leg, you have no choice, but you have to wait for the retracement, which happened right here. See this deep pullback here? See this deep pullback? Let me go back. Now that I've shown that, I want to address that other question. The question was back over here. Let me go back and address that. There was a brief period where you went into a transitional background when the background was broken and you had this deep retracement. That is not a long trade. Let me explain why. Let me get my cursor back over here. Sorry about that. All right. Now, for a trend change to occur, you have to have what happened on that other V bottom one that I showed. In other words, what would have had to have happened is that this price right here would have to come up through a swing, pull back. This is the ABC pattern. Here's A. Would have to come up. Theoretically, this did not happen, right? And then pull back with a B, get a higher low, and then you get a C leg up. And the B pullback into whatever that is would be the trend change long, just like you see over here. See over here? See how now you're going into a price pattern of higher lows and higher highs and higher lows? Higher high, higher low, higher high, et cetera, all the way up. So on this side, now you're taking longs only on retracement. Whereas the opposite was true in the downtrend here where you're shorting rollovers, right? See it? All the way down. Now, with that in mind, let's go over here to the next slide where we're going to talk about the complete reverse of that, which is what's called a V-top. Now, if you've been trading for a while, you know, here, let me come back. We got Lauren question. And what is your analysis of the cause of volatility in crude oil? Well, there's a number of factors involving crude oil. About a little less than a month back, OPEC was having a huge tiff with Mr. Putin on whether they should reduce production, and they went into more or less a crude oil trade war that not only in the prior front month pushed the futures price negative, which is rare. I've never seen that. I've been trading 25 years and I've never, ever, ever seen that. It freaked everybody out. You had like a 20-year low put in. Go back and look at a crude chart back about less than a month ago. It got all the way down and bottomed at 12. Big money came in and supported crude at 12 and pushed it. It's all the way back up to 25 now. And there was a huge glut. Just enormous glut. They were pumping 10 million barrels a day. That's 2 million barrels over what's needed. They've got crude parked out in the ocean that they won't use for years. So that's why crude is so volatile right now. But anyway, okay, so back to this chart. A lot of times you don't get a V-top. So what I want to explain here is this. When you get a V-top, you can it's fairly clearly defined when you get that spike and the pullback and then trend reversal from up to down, right? So over here you're taking long trades. We get the thrust, pullback support. Here's another long pullback. We get a spike. We break support. Background turns red. We get a lower low. We get a lower high. And just above the mid-band is where you would box this in with your object trader tool or market entry or limit order just under the mid-band short right here. That was a perfect short entry right there. I'm not sure exactly day this is. This is before the open. As I said, this is Pacific time, so 1:15 over here is when the futures markets stop trading and pause. So this is like in the last half an hour or so going into the close. Yeah, so you had a number of short rollovers. You had one here, 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 and here. Several short rollovers going into the downtrend. Now, when you don't have V-tops and V-bottoms, what often will happen is after you have a very precipitous move up here, as it did right over here like this, and this is ES, by the way. This is the ES contract from, I think, about 2 weeks ago. You'll get consolidation at the top or the bottom. So many, many times what will happen is the markets will pause here and just kind of go sideways for a little while. Maybe it could be a few minutes. It could be an hour. It could be a half an hour. So they'll come up. You'll get a period of consolidation where a range occurs. Out of the range, you get one of two things normally happen, right? It's range bound, range bound, range bound into the close. If it's been going up, you get profit taking. You close down into the close out of the range. If you're going sideways up here, and the other thing it can do is trend continuation, where boom, up you go, and it closes up into the close. And we teach you how to, in our training, we teach you how to see that and how to trade those. Okay. Yeah. So this is the ES contract, E-mini S&P front month on the equities is currently June. Now, there's one other thing I didn't have time to show here. I can't talk a lot about it right here. In the after party, you got the link. I can get into more detail about this, but very simply on the surface, we have a correlation that we use. If those of you who trade the equities, so that would be E-mini S&P, ES, NASDAQ, NQ, YM, mini Dow, and RTY, the mid-cap futures, we have a correlation that we use where NASDAQ, the tech-heavy futures instrument, tends to lead the other instruments by as much as a few seconds to a few minutes. So for instance, if you're watching an NQ chart and you see it moving up, generally speaking, not always, this isn't a perfect correlation, but very high percentage of the time, ES will follow, YM will follow, the other markets will follow, and NQ is the leader. In the after party, I'll show that in detail. So if you want to see that, I have several charts where I can show exactly how that works. Okay. All right. I don't see any more questions. Let's get over here to slide number 7 and get ready to wrap her up. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending. If you have any final questions, please type it in. Here is the link to the after party. Click on that. You'll be all signed in. And that starts at 3 p.m. Pacific. And here again, at the end of this a little after party webinar event here. We're going to do a drawing where someone will get a lifetime license. That means you get everything I've shown here, everything, all the indicators, the OT tool, everything, to log into the back end, all the training, the live room, all of it for a lifetime. Yeah, okay, so let's go back. I'd say a couple questions in relation to time. On this slide right here, this chart, you can see very clearly we have the ES chart. This is all Pacific time for those of you that came in late. So you would just adjust this to your time zone. So if you're Central Time, you'd add 2 hours, right? So this would be 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, etc. And of course, if you're on the East Coast, you'd add 3 hours. And if you're overseas, we have a lot of our traders are overseas. They're trading out of Europe, Asia, England, all points, Australia, quite a few. We got a lot in Canada. A lot of our traders are overseas. So if you're overseas, feel welcome to come trade with us. Raul, it looks like you may have come in late, but in essence, we trade pullbacks in a trend. So in this example here with the V top, you'd be trading long, the long side here on retracement. So long, long, pullback, long, and then when it reverses to down, you're shorting the rollovers. Yeah. And the after party, I can pull up a chart where I can sort of get into more detail about that. I'm almost running out of time here, so I'm gonna have to get ready to wrap it up. In Eastern time zone, the after party is at 6. Right. Yeah, Neil. Yeah, that'd be at 6. So 3 o'clock Pacific, that's my time here. And then 3 hours ahead, of course, would be 6 Eastern. Is there any time where you should not trade? Well, tell you what, there is another thing too. When you come to this webinar today, the after party thing, we'll give everybody a link. At 5 o'clock, I have a training webinar. I do training at 5 o'clock every Thursday evening. And we'll give everybody a link to that. And actually, one of the topics, the main topic tonight, is trading after hours, which would mean outside of the normal U.S. equity market trading hours. So here, that would be 6:30 a.m. Pacific to 1:15 p.m. That's considered sort of what we call normal trading hours in the United States. So after 1:15 would be considered after hours, and after hours sort of would be before 6:30. That's called the pre-market, which is the tail end of the European session that started at midnight. So yeah, I think you're 8 hours ahead, Jamal. If you're in England, 8 plus 3, yeah, you'd be 11 o'clock. Yeah, 11 o'clock your time. We got quite a few people in our live room. It really varies day to day. Truth be told, being around so long, we have sort of what you call a core group of people that have been with us for a very, very long time. I guess they like our trade calls. They like our system. Our system is pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of moving parts to it. It's pretty easy to learn. And some days we get a lot of folks in there and some days a little bit less, but most of our core folks are in there pretty much every day trading from 5:55 Pacific to, we normally wrap up right around 8 o'clock, plus or minus. If it's kind of slow and we're done, we close a little bit early. And sometimes if we do trade recaps, we can go a little bit after 8 o'clock. So it's really about, 10 years, a little over 10 years. We started in 2009, Dieter. Yeah, the indicators here, Joe, these are all preset to 4 range charts. Let me go back here. So like on this crude chart here, all this would be out of the box. Can you add indicators? Of course, yes. To the template we give you a template. You can add indicators, and if you find something that we provide to you confusing on the template, you can always take them off. This isn't fixed, and you can do adjustments. In other words, it's not a black box. So if you go in and you open up, you right-click on your chart and you pull it up, and it says adjust settings. You can change settings on the indicators. Yeah, if you have to attend the after party to get in the drawing for the lifetime membership drawing, so please make sure you click on that link and try to get in there if you can. At the end of that after party webinar, we will do the drawing, and somebody in there will get a lifetime license. Let's see here. Are there different settings for different markets? Not too much, Joe. The only thing occasionally you might have to adjust is, for instance, I mentioned the NASDAQ market, and that is, she's a woolly beast. And, you know, sometimes you don't want to trade like a 2 or a 4 range chart. You might have to go up to like an 8 or a 10. Because if you put a 4 range on NASDAQ, you're just going to get 9 million bars flying at you, and it's going to be very difficult to trade. And as I mentioned earlier on the correlations between NQ and ES, just to be clear, we don't trade NASDAQ. We used to have it in the room, but we had to babysit it because it's just such a beast. But we have some traders that trade it, and we teach how to trade it. But we use it more or less as the leading futures instrument. Yeah, they're both free, Mike. So for the link for the after party, it is 3 p.m. Pacific time. So right now here it is 1:46. So approximately in an hour and 14 minutes, we will have the link. Just my business partner Gary just put the link in there. Go to webinar link, 3 p.m. Pacific, an hour and 15 minutes from now. Okay, and whoever's in there is going to participate in the lifetime license drawing. The room. Well, no, the room we do during the weekdays, Kelly. So the live room would be start at Monday morning a.m. at 5:55 and go all the way through Friday. So we have a live room tomorrow from 5:55 to 8. So every morning, yeah, Monday through Friday. So the only times we have anything outside of that is 2 out of 3 Saturday mornings we have training webinars at 9 a.m. Pacific. You can use Renko bars rule. That's a great question. We have a lot of traders. In fact, in our Object Trader package, we have what's called OT bars, OT Renko bars. And we have, it's built right into the Object Trader package, and we have a lot of our traders use those. Will the signals be any different on the chart? No. The system that you see here with the bar colors, background colors, the bands, everything, and even the stuff you can't even see on here is all the same. It doesn't change. That's the beauty of it. You know, we've stuck with 4 range bar charts with the same setups for 10 years. And I think, to be honest with you, I think that's helped a lot in the fact that there's a lot of continuity there. In other words, one day we won't come in there and say, oh, well, that's a short on ES or whatever. And the next day you come in, it's a different chart, right? A different indicator. Oh, wait, that was supposed to be a long. We got to flip it. I think when you do that, what I've seen over the years is that confuses traders, and there's not continuity from day to day. It's much different with screen time if you come in every single day and you look at the same thing. That way your trading mind can remember from repetition what you're supposed to do, and then it becomes very clear what to do. 5 times a week, so Monday through Friday is the live room. Yeah, everybody got the link? Mike, you got the link, 3 p.m.? All right, let me go back to the wrap-up page. I think I've got most of the questions. If I missed what the question, you go ahead, please put it in. We're getting ready to wrap up here.
Hey, just real quick, Charles, before we do wrap.
Okay.
I just wanted to let everybody know, the last time that we had a drawing like this, there was a gentleman in Germany that actually won the lifetime license. I have a testimonial from him. We'll show in the follow-up webinar, and you can actually see him sitting by a seashore and everything, just tickled pink. He won the system back in 2019. He doesn't pay a dime. I mean, he gets all the training, the trading room, the scripts, everything for the rest of his life. And we'll show that also. And we'd love for everybody to attend. Be sure and click on that link to register for it. And we're going to have you a great follow-up webinar after this, and right at an hour.
Yeah, Sally, so the link that we're showing here that's been displayed in the chat box and is shown right here is for what we're calling an after-party webinar, where we do the drawing for the lifetime. And then we have some other additional charts that we can show that have, sort of more of the indicators on it. I was explaining earlier that when you do when you crop a chart to put it on a slide like this, there's all sorts of other things going on around it in the above and below, up here and over here, that just got cropped off, like the time and date, like what the date is, and we have some other indicators up here. It's not showing. Just You'll get to see a full chart. Let me just put it that way. We'll get to see the whole thing. That link doesn't work? Should work. Gary, does that link work?
That link works. Let me go ahead and pop it in here. And you have to probably copy it and paste it into your browser is all.
Everybody's saying it worked for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing it right now, and it should be, yeah, it's working perfectly. If you have any problem with that at all, contact us. I'll go ahead and put in the chat box here where you get in touch with us, because you've got an hour before this starts. So bear with me a second, I'll get you that.
Yeah, Gary's phone number is on the website on our contact page, and his Skype handle is Viper Trader, one word, V-I-P-E-R, Viper Trader on Skype.
And there's our email address right there too.
Yeah, this is a lot to try to cover in 45 minutes. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Don't think that, the lot of traders is very anxious to get everything going there. It takes a little bit of time to learn this stuff. You got to be patient with yourself. You got to give yourself some time to absorb what you're looking at. And, I mean, we have a lot of traders that see our indicators in our program, and they ramp up very quickly. Other traders, it takes a little bit longer. It might take a few days, a few weeks, or a few months. But with the repetition, and you see it over and over and over again, it'll start to make a lot of sense to you, and then you can see where to take those trades. I think I got all the questions. I'm looking up here. Did I miss anything? Getting ready to wrap?
No, did a great job. By the way, just to let everybody know, on a chart that you crop like that, like Charles was talking about, see, that's actually like an 8-hour chart that he's showing right there on that screen. We get down to the basics, in the trading room and everything, where you're going to be able to see every little detail on those charts the way we teach it. And of course, we'll be able to show that with a lot larger screen and things like that, and real live data also.
Yeah, so before we wrap, let me ask Raul's question there, a little bit more detail on how the, granularity into how the room works. Okay, imagine this was Gary's screen. He has a big screen that he shares with everybody who logs in all over the world, right? And if you cut it into quarters like this, draw a horizontal line in the middle and a vertical line right here like this. And what you'll be looking at when you log in to GoToWebinar, in the upper right-hand corner will be an ES chart, okay? Real time, running in real time on real-time data. And the charts will look just like this, just like you see right here, just this background colors, everything will be identical to here. In the bottom right, you'll see a crude oil chart here. In the upper left quadrant, you'll see YM chart. And in the bottom left quadrant, you'll see gold chart. And what Gary does and I do, we do collectively, more or less in real time at the same time, is he'll put lines, support and resistance lines on here. So for instance, let's use this crude retracement as an example. Depending on where the swing was here, there more or less be a line right in here somewhere, as what was prior support over to the left here will now become resistance. And you'll hear a call. So this is answering your question, Raul. You're saying, do you have calls, live calls for ES and the crude oil? And the short answer is yes. That's why we do the live room. So you might hear something in the room with a line right here to the effect of, all right, we've broken down. We're going into a downtrend on crude. We're looking for a retracement to get short. We're looking for a kiss and roll up near that mid band. We'll put a line up here. Gary will put a line right physically on the chart. You'll see it. If it gets anywhere near 26.50, 26.45, and kisses and rolls off that mid band, we are going to take a short. So that will go just like that. And then when it hits, you enter the trade, and we'll say, okay, you've gone 10 ticks. Take your scalp trade off, engage your trail, and then we'll talk about where the trail goes. And normally it's going to be, on the case of the short, on around line 2, or it's going to be at the mid-band. So you trail, and you stop out right there. So yes, the trades calls are live, and we physically take the trades with you. I mainly trade ES. Gary occasionally trades ES. We both trade gold. Gary is very heavy on the crude trades. In fact, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think, Gary, most of the times before the market even opens, you're done trading on crude some days, right?
Oh, we get her done in those 30 minutes. You'll enjoy when you come to the room. It'll be right there on the charts telling you just right where we feel it should be.
Yep. Okay. I think, anything else, Gary? Any final questions? Make sure
I think we're good. Everybody be sure and join us at that after party. You might be that lucky winner because a gentleman that won it in Germany last year was that lucky gentleman, and no longer has to pay anything to Viper Trading Systems as long as he shall live.
Excellent. It's
All
awesome.
right.
Okay, Tiffany, Juanita, I think we're done. Thank you very much for having us. I really appreciate all the time you put in to help us, and this turned out great.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Gary. It was a pleasure to have you both in the room. Again, we want to give a special thank you to Charles of Viper Trading Systems for a great presentation. Everyone in attendance here today will receive an on-demand recording of today's event, so please keep an eye out for that email. NinjaTrader Ecosystem is pleased to sponsor these weekly vendor events as a value-added service for our clients. If you find value in these events, we do hope that you will attend them on a regular basis. We'd like to remind you the information provided in this was that of Viper Trading Systems and not of NinjaTrader. All information is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as trading advice. Again, we do appreciate the time you spend with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from everyone here at the NinjaTrader Ecosystem.